North Bay, the Real Estate Hour. The legacy continues with Allison Norman and her business partner, Stephanie Norman, the newest mother-daughter real estate team. Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday morning.
Hope you all had a fun 4th of July.
Yeah.
Fun and safe one.
4th of July, the 3rd of July. People, we get to
Yes.
celebrate it 2 days in a row around here.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Windsor and, was it Windsor and Sebastopol on the 3rd, and then everywhere else on the 4th.
Yeah.
So, yes. Hope everybody got out, had a good time. The parade, I'm all out of breath. I ran out to the car. If I'm panting, it's because I ran out to the car to get my coffee.
Minute.
Anyway, we were in, when were we in Novato? On Thursday? On Thursday, and people were setting up for the parade. They have a big parade there. And all over the place, Cloverdale had a parade. And hopefully Cloverdale had, I haven't heard if they had people come. Unfortunately, they had to cancel their fireworks because of that horrific explosion and loss of fireworks and loss of life. They're in near Sacramento. I'm trying to draw a blank on the name of it. Esparto. Thank you, Esparto. Anyway, so kind of an unfortunate chain events there. But anyway, they had a lot of fun planned. So hopefully people got up there to Cloverdale.
Yeah. And all the other places.
All the other places. We went to our favorite fairs. Sorry, but I grew up in Marin, and so Marin County and only because not saying it's a better fair or anything like that, but for us or for me, and I think Stephanie too.
It's the nostalgia for me.
It's the nostalgia. Yeah, we would go. I mean, I went to that fair when I was in middle school, by myself with our, that was our thing. We did like all week. Wasn't as expensive back then, but, so yeah, it's the nostalgia of it. And then we've got the Sonoma County Fair coming up, so we'll be there as well. But yeah, so we went there to watch the fireworks, and they have very different people.
There every year for 4th of July since
a long time.
I was a kid.
Yeah. So people that don't know and haven't been to the Marin County Fair, they have they're lower than the usual fireworks. They fire them off this wooden platform that's in the middle of the lagoon, and they can't do the really big high up ones because it's right next to Highway 101, and people used to literally like stop on the freeway to watch the fireworks, or maybe debris would fall on the fireworks, at some point in their 60 year, I think they're at like their 75th year anyway. Somebody said we need to stop doing these high fireworks. Let's do the lower ones. But they're really pretty and they're loud and you're like right there, and they still go up in the air and go boom, and do all the things that you expect from a firework. But some people have gone and they go, oh, we didn't like that because it wasn't,
Wasn't your normal typical
Wasn't, it's a little different because they're a little lower, but it's, it's kind of combination
awesome.
Fireworks and water show, water, like,
being over the water is really cool.
Anyway, so we had fun doing that. Hope you all had fun.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and the Santa Rosa had their fireworks back again. I heard that was a good show.
Yeah.
So to continue the festivities, there was actually the Pengrove Parade and Barbecue is today. Starting at 11 o'clock, so get ready while you're listening to the show.
Get out there.
And head on down to Pengrove. They have their 49th Pengrove Parade and Barbecue from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. today. The parade starts at 11 a.m. From 12 to 4 is the barbecue and music in Pengrove Park. And flags will wave at the 49th Annual Pengrove Parade on Sunday, June 6th is what it says. They are little event policies to know. Sorry, no dogs are allowed in the park due to current health code regulations. No food, I know, bummer. No food outside. No, I'm sorry. No outside food, drink, or coolers are permitted. For over 21, you'll get a wristband. You have to show your physical ID, not a digital one, and bring cash or an ATM is available. Credit cards are not advised. That's interesting because everywhere that we've been lately, they don't like cash.
Yeah.
And even at the Marin County Fair, they had a place where you can convert your cash into a card.
Yeah, that's
to
so easy. Yeah.
to use at the fair because they weren't they weren't accepting cash, which is
It's
interesting.
always like vice versa. It's like
I know. It's
either
like,
they're
do we bring
accepting
cash or do we not?
or no cash.
Yeah, so it says bring your cash, or you can use an ATM. They don't advise. I don't know why they're not advised. Maybe a lot of places, they're not using them. But this is the largest annual fundraiser hosted by the Pengrove Social Firemen. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization. Proceeds support maintenance and improvement to Pengrove Park and Clubhouse. So sounds fun. You can join the parade with your float. Well, you can't do that. It's too late for that. Never mind.
That.
Oh, and a note here is safety note. It says the SMART train will travel through Pengrove at 45 miles per hour. So be aware and stay safe. So when you see those, lights flashing and the guard go down, that's for pedestrians also. And I don't think the train stops there, unfortunately. So you can't get off in Pengrove.
Oh, yeah.
But there is actually a lot of fun stuff happening in Windsor, which is the newest stop to the SMART train, if you haven't been following along.
That's right. Yes, it is.
So all of the events they have, Windsor has a lot of stuff going on. They have you want to talk about the Windsor?
Well, so they're doing, every year they do the family movies on the green.
Mm-hmm.
So that's happening. It's every Tuesday. 15 minutes after the sunset, and I believe this Tuesday it's the Minions, or I don't know if it's Despicable Me or the Minions.
Oh,
I posted
it's
it
probably
on
the
our
Minions, yeah.
Facebook page.
Oh, good. So our Facebook page is the Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman.
Yes.
Find us there for all kinds of good information.
And then there's also summer nights on the green in Windsor, and they do live music 5 to 8 p.m. So looking for something to do during the week. Those are some fun options. They're also having in Windsor the Windsor Taco Fest and Lowrider Show on Saturday, July 12th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's Bring the Family to the annual Windsor Taco Fest and Lowrider Show. Saturday, July 4th, 4 to 8 p.m. on the Windsor Town Green. Sample tacos from some of the best Sonoma County food trucks, along with other favorites including elote, margaritas, beer, chamoy, and treats, including churros and patelas.
Mm-hmm.
Cast your vote for the crowd favorite, favorite taco.
Oh.
See which tacos are the winners with our panel of
fun.
Local celebrity chefs. Ooh.
Alrighty. So, and then
Exciting.
the train actually, then the reason we're talking about Windsor, that's the newest stop on the SMART train.
Yes, don't want to worry about parking. Take the SMART train straight to downtown Windsor. Station is a block away from the town green.
Yeah, that's cool. So you can do the movie night, you can do the music, and not worry about having to drive home.
And along with this, it's enjoy free music and arts and crafts market featuring the work of local artisans and free children activities.
Woo-hoo,
Bring your low-backed beach chairs and camp chairs to sit on the town green to enjoy your tacos, the music, entertainment, and the summer afternoon and evening at the multicultural celebration.
Awesome. Sounds fun. Also, the hot air balloon is coming up. I think I think it's like the 12th or so.
It's on our Facebook page, The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. So we have a lot of information there as events. We do post market updates on there as well.
Yeah, it's not just events.
We post market updates on our page. We also are doing YouTube now.
Right, yeah, and we forgot to mention that
Hour.
last week. And so YouTube, our YouTube channel is Sonoma County Real Estate Hour, because YouTube is an international thing. So Sonoma County Real Estate Hour on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Sonoma County Real Estate Hour. Mm-hmm. So you can catch our show if you miss it or you want to actually see what we look like.
Because we have the podcast.
And then it's podcast on KSRO.com. So lots of way to listen.
And we post all that on our Facebook page. And if you don't have a Facebook, you can go to KSRO and find us there under Ask the Expert. And we're kind of towards the bottom of that list.
You got to first click on Ask the Expert and then go down there to find all the different Ask the Expert shows. So anyway, that's what's going on. We'll talk further. Always check Sonoma County Happenings. Is it .com? Sonoma County Happenings is a really good resource for all kinds of events. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, but first, just mention today is the first, or it is the first week where we can talk about the numbers, the June numbers. So we are going to go through all what happened in real estate all of June, what sold, how we're looking compared to last year, price-wise, and number of listings sold. We're going to talk a little bit about where we kind of are seeing mortgage rates going, where they've been, where they're going, how we think that's kind of affecting what's happening in the market. And that and more, all kinds of good real estate stuff we're going to be talking about. We're in kind of an interesting market where it's a changing market. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of good information, but a lot also misinformation and national information that doesn't apply to Sonoma County. So
that's where it gets tricky, is that national.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about all of that when we come back from a break. And first, we're going to take a break. So I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. So we'll be right back.
Real Estate Hour, hosted by Allison and Stephanie Norman. Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are back.
Happy Sunday.
Happy extended 4th of July weekend. It seems like it's been a really long. It's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, we had country summer.
That's right. Yeah.
I did all 3 days.
That was last weekend, and then
you did the 2 days.
Right. And the week between that and 4th of July was just kind of a weird week where you're trying to fit everything in, knowing that there's a holiday coming up on Friday, but it also felt like kind of just a weird week where people were leaving on vacation and who's going to be open, who's going to be around, all the things. And then trying to plan. We have a new listing. Let's mention we have a new listing coming up. And so trying to plan that, getting it ready, all of the process that we do, getting a house ready for the market, inspections, scheduling, and it's the scheduling part. It's like, okay. And then the tenants were moving out, and it's like they gave them a little bit of extra time to get out over the weekend. So we're going to be there on Monday to see, how much we need to do to get it ready. But it's really well cared for house. Been a rental for a long time, but has always really had good tenants in there, and the owner has kept up, any of the maintenance that needs to be done. Just replaced some siding, just redid a fence, this is in the L section of Cotati, or it's Rohnert Park. Sorry, you go through Cotati, turn down Myrtle, and get in. The L section is kind of weird. It's kind of like right in the middle of Cotati Rohnert Park border there. But this is Rohnert Park. We're not going to give out the address yet because it's really, we're not ready to have people drive by in. Like I said, the tenants are still kind of working on getting out, but it's going to be listed, or it is listed. We're coming on the market around $650, and it'll probably be about 2 weeks out. We've got we're going to do the inspections. Got to give the property manager time to get in there and do their inspection and all of that, so that the tenant can get their deposit back. And schedule pictures. We've got a stager lined up. So all of that we were doing during this week of trying to figure out how, the week between country summer and 4th of July. Plus other real estate things. Also, we have a buyer in a backup offer position, which we should talk about at some point. How that works.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
But anyway, the real estate market is picking up. I think we get every time you mention to anyone that you're a realtor, if they know you're a realtor and they see you, and the question is always, "How's the market? What's going on?" The answer is always it's interesting, no matter what. The answer is it's interesting because it really always is, and it's been for a long time. A really varied market. I mean, through COVID was just an anomaly that nobody expected or knew was going to happen. And it was just kind of threw everything up in the air and it landed differently. But we're back really to more of a normal market. And the first time in, probably since 2013, maybe. We're maybe 20. I'm trying to think of where our trough was, like 2012, 2013. The trough being when the market dropped it down to the bottom, and then it started going back up. I think it was around 2012, 2013. I'm not looking at any document. This is from my head. So I think it was around that time. Oh, was that my microphone or my headphones? Just made a weird sound. Anyway, so it's been an interesting market, and we're getting back into kind of a normal market, but it's more of a buyer's market. That
normal you keep saying should be in
quote unquote air quotes normal. Yeah, so it's been more. We're leaning more towards the buyer's market, and if you're watching the news, you're watching national news. Even if you're watching a local news station, you're watching Bay Area news. So be careful with that, and we won't tell you that all the time.
Especially because that's what I I would always go off of. I was like, oh, okay, that's what the news is saying, so that's what the market is doing. But it's, you don't realize that it's based on, like, Bay Area's, like, all of Bay Area, and there's so much to it. Even just, you go down to just Santa Rosa, there's so much to Santa Rosa.
There's different areas, yeah.
All these different areas. So you really want to get down to your area or the area you're looking into and know exactly what those numbers are. Otherwise, it's just confusing.
Exactly, yes.
And we can do that for you. If you want to know your specific area or another specific area, we can help you with that. Just reach out to us. You can call us at 707-799-3617.
Right. Yeah, and we do a lot of just, consulting with people,
Yes.
and yes,
No
we are
obligation.
realtors. Yes, we can help you buy or sell a house, but in the meantime, we can also help you kind of understand, is it the right time to be doing that?
Yes.
And does it make sense? We can connect you with resources to help you get your house ready. We can come over, no commitment on your part, no obligation. We'll come over, sit down, kind of go over what is your specific situation look like. Where are you moving? What are your plans? What are your goals and all that, and kind of help you come up with a plan. Also, a lot of times we're talking to people about, what should I do to fix my house? Should I get it ready? Should I remodel the kitchen? Should I, do this full, remodel before I sell? And sometimes the answer is, sure, that's probably a good idea if you have the money, but also sometimes it's not a good idea. And maybe, are you going to get that money back? So we can help you figure all that out.
Yeah, and sometimes it's, maybe you should just rent it out instead of sell. So.
Yeah, if you have the means to do that.
And we will advise you on all that. We're not trying to force you into selling or buying. We're there to help
and that's
you.
all no charge. We'll just come out and do it.
Yeah.
And we hope that you, when the time comes, that you'll think of us and you'll use us to help you buy or sell a home, or you'll refer us to your friends. And that we work a lot on referral, just from past clients, from other agents out of the area, from people that we know, and just in our sphere of influence, it's called. So people that and that know and trust you. But anyway, so we got way off track from that.
Per usual.
We're gonna so we talked about the market. Here was what is this market looking like? It's an interesting market. It's kind of all over the place because we're seeing the higher end of the market really stalled a little bit, and however, that's still parts of the high end of the market. It depends on where you are, what kind of property you have, and all that. So this, when we look at the numbers, it's a general look at what's happening in all of Sonoma County. We look at them every week. So we're going to talk about what's in escrow. What's actively sitting on the market, what's in escrow, and then we're going to take a look today at what sold in June and what's this year and what sold in June last year. Kind of compare those two, and then Stephanie always pulls up the numbers for what we call a market snapshot. And that's what happened this last week. So from last Sunday to this Sunday, and that's good. So we like to keep an eye on all of this, even though different segments of the market are different. We like to keep on an eye on the whole, because it really kind of helps you understand the health of the real estate market here in Sonoma County in general. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know how much time we have left, but we're going to start out. We may carry over after the news, but let's take a look at the active market right now in Sonoma County. We have single-family homes. We have 1,098 active listings. The median price for those is $1,150,000. In escrow right now in Sonoma County, we have 362. So 1,098 active, 362 in escrow. The condo market, we have 145 active with 50 in escrow. Mobile home market, we have 88 active with 40 in escrow. And multi-units, 2 to 4 units is a duplex, triplex, fourplex. 2 houses or 3 houses or 4 houses on one lot. Those all fit into that category. There's 96 active on the market with just 19 in escrow. And that's pretty normal for there to be that big gap between those two. It's kind of always like that. Same goes for land. There's 316 active land, buildable residential land. There is other land that we don't pull into this number because we're looking just at residential buildable land. So there's ag land, there's commercial land, there's all other kinds of land. But looking at just the residential buildable land, 316 active with 29 in escrow. Again, that's normal for there to be that gap. What isn't normal is we're over 300, which we haven't been in a couple of years. We're sitting, it's been in that high 200s, and now it went up over that 316. Also, that number of active for single family, it's kind of staying pretty consistent. It was a million. It was 1,175, 1,179 the last couple of weeks, 1,155. We are now at 1,098. So it's actually down a little bit. The escrow is actually up a little bit. So, we are seeing people come out and look at, we've got more inventory. What the good news is that people are coming out and buying. People that maybe said, you know what, interest rates are too high. Everything's too expensive. And there's not enough inventory. We got tired of looking, so we're not going to buy right now. So we're starting to see now buyers come out and say, okay, things aren't really changing. Prices, you'll see when we look at the sold, and we'll do that after the break, but prices are actually starting to come up. I mean, they're continuing to, I'm sorry, they're not coming up. They're continuing to go up. They're not going up as fast as they did since, in 2020 when we saw, huge increases in equity and home values. But they are continuing to go up. So people that are waiting for this market to maybe for more inventory, they think the market's going to tank. They think the interest rates are going to come down. While you're sitting there thinking about it, the home values are actually continuing to go up. So, anyway.
Also, I think sellers are realizing the rates aren't going anywhere, so might as
right,
well sell.
And that's what we've had a lot of sellers. You're right, and the sellers, homeowners who would like to sell, but they didn't want to give up that really low interest rate, and they're going, okay, well, this is ridiculous. It's not going down. We need a bigger house, a smaller house, a different area. We need to do all these things, and here we are stuck in this house. So they're just giving up, and not giving up, but giving up that fight. We don't want to give up. We don't want to give up that 3% or 2.5%. And sometimes you have to look at and that's why sometimes we'll sit down with you and look at that for you, with you, and say, okay, here's what's happening in the market. Here's what they're predicting as far as what's happening with rates, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show as well. But does it make sense for you to continue staying in this house? It's not working for you, and maybe, bite the bullet and pay a little bit higher interest rate, moving into something like that. So anyway, we're keeping an eye on what's happening, but we really are seeing definitely more inventory than we've seen since, like I was talking about the trough. I mean, that's back when we suddenly saw the inventory come up. And then we've been in a low inventory market since really, even back in like 2015, 16, 17. Finally, we've got some inventory. Anyway, we got to take a break for the news. We come back, we'll talk about what sold in June this year, last year, and then what happened this last week in real estate. Stephanie has those numbers. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and we'll be right back.
Now, back to the Real Estate Hour, hosted by Allison and Stephanie Norman. Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning. We're
Good
back.
morning.
You are listening to the Real Estate Hour. And we're actually talking about real estate today.
Imagine that.
And we always do, but we do like to talk about events and all of this stuff because, when my kids were little, you being one of them, but when we would find out about things, and it still happens. I find out about things like after it happened because the Press Democrat puts it in there and says, look what happened. This was a great event. I'm all, wait a minute. Why didn't I hear about it before? So I think, and maybe it was just me, but I talked to other people and they kind of say the same thing, that they're, they hear about things after. It tends to, so that's why, like, now with the internet, it's nice. You can, look, you see things more often.
We still miss things, though, somehow.
Even sometimes on here, we'll say, these things are happening this week, and then we, the thing, something else happens. We're like, oh my gosh, we didn't even catch that on as an event. So it still happens. It still happens.
We try to get everything out there, but we miss it. We miss a couple things.
But the point is, it's and it does have to do with real estate in a way, because it has to do with the community, what's happening in the community, how strong. And we talk about bills and ordinances and things or complaints and things that are happening, because I think it's important for people to understand especially we have listeners that are from outside the area too, and so to know and understand what's happening in Sonoma County, the good and the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it does affect the real estate market. And definitely. So anyway, so that's why we cover all these events, and we hope that you're okay with that. But actually, I think people appreciate it. We've had people tell us that. So anyway, and the other thing that we do is really kind of keeping an eye, like I said, like we just finished talking about, is the numbers. Right? And I think that's important. The numbers, what's happening in the market, what's happening now, what happened last year, and kind of comparing all of that. And that because that's the most common question we get is, how's the market? Yeah. So keeping you informed. And we do Stephanie's really good about putting this on the Facebook page. Yeah. So you can go to our Facebook page, the Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. It'll be after the show. It'll be all these numbers. So don't scurry, to find a pen, write it down.
Sometimes it's a day late, but I try to get it in there right after the show or the same day. And then the podcast is up right after the show typically, and then our YouTube is a couple days after. We're getting better at getting that up because it's a process, a learning curve. Yes, getting the YouTube off of the phone onto the app to edit it, and then onto YouTube. So stay, keep an eye on that. But there's lots of ways you can listen and all of that. But anyway, right now we're going to continue on talking about what happened in real estate. We went through the market. I did it pretty quickly, but basically, did I say the median price? I don't think I did. So the median price for the single family right now is $1,150,000. Those are the active on the market. The median of what's in escrow is $879,000. And that's a really normal big difference between the two. And that really just shows us that there's more lower price homes going into escrow. Because that medium is kind of a sliding scale. The more high end there is in the market, the higher that goes. So it's kind of a look at, it shows you two things. It shows you what our median, what the home values are doing. But more than that, I think, is it shows you where the market is. Yeah. Where there's more sales, there's more active listings, there's more higher end active listings than there are in escrow. So that's what people are buying. The buyers that are out there right now, more buyers are buying in the lower end of the market or the middle end of the market. Anyway, so then looking at, I think I finished all of the active and in escrow. And then, so let's look at the sold this year, last year, and then you're going to look at what happened this last week. So what sold in June, and I think it's important to compare the two because we hear a lot of people say, the market's going to go down, Well, guess what? It hasn't. The home values, median home price for single-family homes in June of 2024 was $829 with 40 days on the market. This June, it was $855 with 45 days on the market. So very similar as far as days on the market. But the median price was actually a little bit higher this year than it was last year. So when you hear the news saying home values are going down, they're really not. I think we're seeing price reductions because people priced it too high. Yeah. We're not seeing as many multiple offers and overbids where people are paying more than the house is worth because they wanted to get into that house. Yeah, I was just going to mention, going back to the news and all that, it's not, that's not local to exactly where you are.
Yeah, this as well. Yes, this is all of Sonoma County. So if you want to look at the numbers in Petaluma, what's happening in Petaluma, what's happening in the condo market, what's happening out at the river, what's happening in Cloverdale, they're all very different. But when you put them all together, these are the numbers that we get for all of the county. So, and it's important to watch that because then it gives you kind of the health of what's happening in Sonoma County.
Usually when you're listening to the news on housing market, it's not local to your exact location.
Right. If even, some national, you'll hear like the median home price is like $350,000. It's like, no, not in Sonoma County. So anyway,
definitely pay attention
important to understand that. But so what sold in June of 2025 single family homes? There were 385 this last month that sold. In June of 2024, there were only 340. So that was a difference, 385 this year, 340 last year. And I really think the reason why is that people, like we talked about, people have kind of resolved themselves to the fact that, okay, things are not changing as much as we thought. The election is over, so all of that uncertainty, good or bad, has there was a lot of uncertainty. And now at least we know what we have. And so some people are going, okay, well, this is what we're dealing with. House is too big, house is too small, need to get closer to family, or whatever. The house isn't working for you anymore. Let's, bite the bullet and sell it. So we're seeing more people sell their homes. We're also seeing more people say, okay, it's time to buy. Like we always say, as you're waiting for the market to go down, it's actually going up. So anyway, so I think that's why there's more homes sold there's also more inventory. Yeah. So there isn't that craziness of multiple offers and overbids. However, there are some still. There are some listings that are getting overbids.
And that the housing market is always going up or moving. That kind of shows you as to why it's such a good investment to invest in buying your house, because it's always the value goes up. Yeah. And other things, not so much.
Right. And there was an interesting graph, and I don't know if I have it here. It was something we had with a company called Keeping Current Matters, and it I think it's on our Facebook, but it had an interesting thing. And people here, when they think there's a recession, they think home values are going down. Or the market's going to tank, and historically that doesn't happen. We did have that one in 2007, 6 and 7, and that had a lot to do with the banks and everything that was happening, all of that stuff that was going on. But typically, even if there's a recession, the home values don't get hurt that much, if at all. They continue to go up. So anyway, our point is, get out. If you're thinking about buying, stop trying to time the market. If you need to sell, if you need to buy, there's a good reason to do it now. There may not, it may not be good for you. So that's like we said at the beginning, we're happy to come out and have that conversation with you, or even have it on the phone, or have a email conversation, a text conversation.
Reach out to us.
We'll help you understand if it makes sense for you in your specific situation. But okay, so moving on with what the sales in June. So this year in June, we sold 43 condos and townhouses. Last year it was 37. So again, we sold more. That condo market is really, really saturated right now. It's been longer than the single family home market. We still had low inventory in single family homes when the condo market started to go up. Now they're both high, but the condo market, there's a lot. However, we've been showing condos. There's not a lot out there that, for the specific need of our clients, so that what they're looking for. So even if there's this flood of inventory, it's not for that specific person or buyer. So it just depends.
It's not the right price, it's not the right amount of bedrooms or bathrooms.
Yeah, and they're looking for an end unit. There's not a lot of end units out. There's not one with a garage. There's not one, that's a single level, so there's different things, or there aren't very many in this part of town, where they want to be. So just because the inventory is high doesn't necessarily mean there's a lot of opportunity or options, I should say options for people. But anyway, so looking at the condo market, 43 that this year, 37 last year. So still selling more, but also there's more inventory. Although I think the inventory was pretty high last year as well. Mobile homes, there are 29 that sold this year in June, 23 sold last year in June. And then multi-unit, 2 to 4 units, we sold 12 this year. We sold 17 last year. So what's interesting, and I read an article about investors, and when the market gets, it's like with the interest rates or different things affect the market differently for investors. And so we actually are starting to see investors leave, and not so many out there. According to this article I read, I forget who wrote the article, but we're kind of seeing it. This year there were only 12 that sold in June. Last year it was 17. So I think that is because there are fewer investors buying, and typically, and investors buy single family homes and condos as well, but investors that are buying duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, that we're seeing fewer that are selling. And then land, what we sold, big difference in land this June versus last June. Only 6 land listings sold this year in June. 24 sold last year. Wow. That's a big difference, and that was already not very many. Now only 6, and we have more inventory in land. And a lot of that has to do with just the cost of building, the cost of lumber, the tariff, concerned about the tariff, whether they're affecting things or not. the concern is there.
And even just getting construction workers out to do it,
right?
That's hard too.
Yeah,
So
a lot of things affecting that market. So land, if you're looking to buy land, we just said how hard it is, all the things, but it's a good opportunity right now because there's a lot of land out there, and there's some nice pieces of property. We have our 1860 and 1990 Mark West Springs Road, 35 acres. You could put 4 houses. It already has 1. You can put 3 more houses. That family compound everybody's looking for, there it is right there. And it's the address is Mark West Springs, but it's way up off of the road. So it's a really nice property. There's a lot of other opportunities out there too. So if you're looking for land, if you're thinking, and we can kind of go over that with you, what all are you going to need to do? And is this cost going to make sense? But we're happy to kind of sit down and help you analyze that as well. So anyway, that's what's happening in real estate. That's what happened in June here in Sonoma County. It's always an interesting market, and we're keeping an eye on it. And Stephanie is going to talk about what happened just this last week, and it's interesting because it was the week before 4th of July, where a lot of people head out of town, but the numbers were pretty consistent, right?
They were, yeah. So I have the market snapshot for Sonoma County single family residential, and it's from what happened last Sunday to today, July 6th. So we have for new listings 79 with a median list price of $815,000. Back on market 28. Price reduction 74. In escrow 93. Pending 63. Closed 100 with a median sold price of $890,000. With 46 days on the market.
Yay. Excuse me. Congratulations to everyone that
Thank you.
sold a house.
I forgot
that
about
100,
that part.
Is that a
big deal?
Is that a big number?
Closed 100?
Yeah, comparatively.
Let's see. Last week was 79.
Yeah, that seemed like a lot. That seemed like a big number for closed escrow.
Yeah,
so even in that week before the holiday, we
did
closed
have on
101.
June 8th, we had 101.
Oh, okay.
So
Good.
So,
Good to see all those, and congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to everyone involved in either closing or buying or selling a home.
All the things at once, a lot of contingent.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of people buying contingent on selling their property.
It's such a big process for everyone involved, so congratulations. I know it can be stressful.
Now you get to enjoy either the money in your bank and go pick your new house, or you enjoy your new house. Anyway, all the stuff. It's always, even if we're not involved in the transaction, it always is, you get that feel good, that good, happy feeling.
We know how good of a warm and fuzzy feeling it is.
Exactly.
So we feel it for you too.
We've been there. Anyway, yes, and so it's exciting all around. Congratulations to all of you, and even if you get an offer accepted, that's also an exciting thing. So congratulations if you are just starting on that journey. Got your offer accepted, or accepted an offer, and now that's the stressful part. This is seller.
Yes.
Anyway, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about the rates, and what's happening in mortgage rates here in Sonoma County, or really across country, and that, and a couple other things. We're going to talk a little bit about overpricing. How overpricing your home can hurt you.
Yes.
It's a big issue right now. And people are kind of starting to come to terms with it and realizing they're not pricing for last year, they're pricing for this year. But anyway, we'll talk about that when we get back. Let's take a quick break. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back. Good morning. We're back.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. You've been listening to the Real Estate Hour. We're going to continue our conversation about what's happening in real estate right now here in Sonoma County. We just gave you a whole bunch of numbers, and Stephanie will put those on the Facebook page.
I will.
The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. You can find us again. You can follow us on YouTube and subscribe to that channel, because then you'll get notified when we put that post up. But anyway, I wanted to mention real quick before we move on, I want to talk about the numbers. The mortgage, what's happening in real estate. As far as the mortgage history and what predictions are. But we mentioned last week, and it's happening this, Wednesday, I believe, a free workshop put on by emergencyprephelp.org. This one coming up, the July 9th, is in Petaluma Community Center, and it says seniors, preparing seniors for natural disasters and other emergencies. Participants receive a free emergency go bag and essential safety education geared towards older adults. So I don't think you have to be an older adult. Maybe you have an older adult in your family that you want to pass this information on to. But this is you can register or get more information at emergencyprephelp.org. This one coming up Petaluma is the 9th and the 23rd. There's one in the Council on Aging in Santa Rosa, the 17th and the 31st. And then there's more kind of going on throughout the county. But you'll get more information if you go to that website, which is emergencyprephelp.org. Okay, so good stuff and important because we are in fire season, and we're hearing about natural disasters all over the country right now with the horrible weather and the horrible events that took place in Texas, and our hearts go out to all of those people. That was just hard to listen to and watch. But anyway, and things like that you can't even prepare for. But here with wildfire and earthquake and all that, we know that the potential is there for that to happen, and you might have a little bit more time to prepare. And the more prepared you are, the better. So take advantage of that free emergency go bag that they're giving you and all that stuff. Okay, so let's talk about overpricing. There is a surge of price reductions as sellers are overestimating the market. And we just went through, 5 years of crazy market. Like I said, in 2020, everything that we didn't expect to happen happened, and the interest rates went down to virtually almost nothing, and the sales went up and the inventory went down, and it was a crazy market, and so everyone is used to pricing for that.
This from last week to this week, there was 74 price reductions.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of price reductions. So anyway, we're there is and this is nationwide, but in California, according to this document, and this was in June, there was 16% of all of California we were seeing price reductions, and nationally it was 18%. So we're up there on there. There was Texas 21%, Florida 25%. Florida and Texas are really seeing a lot. The highest on this list, Arizona. Sorry, I had to look at the map and go, what state is that? Arizona, 28%. Wow. So seeing a lot of price reductions, and it really can hurt you. And I'm realizing now I'm going to correct myself because I said we're going to talk about what's happening with the rates, and then I went right into so we are going to talk. There is a reason why price reductions and how to be careful and make sure you not fall into that trap, because it does hurt you. But real briefly, let me just talk about what's happening in the mortgage history, looking at what we started out the year at 6.91%. We're at 6.85%. At one point, it went down to about 6.6, I think, is the lowest. And these are just general numbers. There's a lot of variables and a lot of factors that go into, and this is all conventional financing, 30-year fixed mortgage rate. FHA and VA are typically a little bit lower interest rate, but they have a little bit more cost on the other side. And then your job history, your personal history, your credit score, your situation will dictate what your interest rate is going to be. There's a baseline that they work with, and then there's all these factors. So, if your neighbor, your sister, your brother, your friend got 6.5, and then you're getting quoted 6.9, there's a reason why that. And it's not always the lender. It's usually, there are a little bit of variables between mortgage companies and lenders, loan brokers, but they're all kind of working off the same thing. They may have some incentives, they may have some reductions in their loan fees, they may have, but they're all kind of held to that same standard of what they can do and can't do. We're actually going to have George Adair, Cross Country Mortgage, is going to call in. He hasn't been on in a while to kind of give us an update on that, because he's it's better to talk to a loan person about mortgage rates than to a realtor. Yeah. We stay on top of it and understand it because we need to, because that's one of the second questions, most often asked questions, are how are the rates, and what is my mortgage going to be, and all of that, and that's really a better question left for the lender. So anyway, that's what's going on. So the rates are kind of where they're floating around in that high 6, mid 6.
Yeah, definitely.
For something else I printed up, but I don't know where it ended up. All my papers. But anyway, so that's there's not a lot to say about it. They did not reduce the rates when the things that recently I think it's like quarterly. They'll talk. They'll have their meeting and they decide if they're going to raise the rates, lower the rates, and all that. And they stayed and they decided to keep them the same. So there they are. Anyway, so, that's kind of what we're seeing is for mortgage rates. And when we have George Adair on, we'll get a little bit more information on that. And I am looking, before we run out of time, I was looking for something, just a prediction on, here we go. So in July 2025, mortgage rates are expected to remain in the mid-6s, like I just said, with potential relief by year end if the Federal Reserve launches cuts starting July. So far, we haven't heard anything about that. Analysts predict that mortgage rates could slide into the low 6% range by the end of 2025, pending further inflation easing and Fed cuts. The Federal Reserve's cautious stance on inflation and geopolitical risk means that rates will likely stay in the narrow band rather than experiencing dramatic fluctuations. Okay, so that's a prediction, kind of a general prediction. We'll hear more from George and because they get a briefing every week on what's happening. Yeah. And, we could get one too, but we're focused on helping you get your house sold and letting you know what we know about real estate and all of that and all that stuff. But anyway, so just quickly, we have about a minute left. We're going to talk. I just want to remind you, so price reductions, we're seeing a lot. Stephanie reported that, what was it, 80-something, 74 this. We're seeing a lot of price reductions. And why that's an issue is that we don't want you to, a price reduction it really hurts you because if you start out too low, you miss that initial excitement too high. You miss, thank you. You miss that initial excitement of you being on the market, a new house on the market, and then people go, oh, that one's overpriced, and then it sits, and now buyers are going, well, what's wrong with it? Why is it sitting? And then two things can hurt you. If you don't lower your price, then they're going, well, they're not willing to even do anything because they're not lowering their price. Obviously, it's overpriced. The other thing is if you if you drop your price, then they're wondering why you dropped your price and what's wrong with it. So be careful. Talk to your realtor. Look at the market. Look at the numbers. Understand this isn't last year's market. It's this year's market. Price your listing right. Yes, okay, we got to go. That's all we have for today. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, the Norman Home Team on KSRO. Join them every Sunday morning at 9